Today I'm going to be reviewing the Atlas Master GP40-2W in the CN paint scheme. The newer model, number 9592, was provided to me by Carter's Trains. There's a link in the description to his channel. Be sure to go check it out. The EMD GP40-2 is a 4-axle road switcher locomotive built by EMD as part of its Dash 2 line between April 1972 and December 1986. The locomotive's power was provided by an EMD 645E3 16-cylinder engine, which generates 3,000 horsepower. Standard GP40-2 production totaled 861 units, with 817 built for the U.S. railroads and 44 for Mexican railroads. In addition, 3 GP40P-2 passenger versions were built for Southern Pacific in 1974, and 279 GP40-2LW and GP40-2W units equipped with wide cabs were built by General Motors Diesel, or GMD, for Canadian National and GO Transit between 1974 and 1976. Total production of the GP40-2 and variants totaled 1,143 units. Although the GP40-2 was a sales success, it sold fewer units than the earlier GP40 and contemporary GP38-2 and SD40-2 models. The popularity of higher horsepower 4-axle diesels began to decline with the GP40-2, with the 6-axle models gaining in popularity for their superior low-speed lugging performance. Retail on this model is $279.95, but you can pick one up for yourself at Hiawatha Hobbies for only $195.99. The packaging on this locomotive is very well done and looks very nice. Once you remove this cardboard sheath on the outside, it is all done in gold lettering and looks very, very nice. Then you can lift the top off and reveal the locomotive. Also included in the box is a quick start guide and a warranty registration card. To actually take the locomotive out of the box, you do have to have a Phillips head screwdriver. Just slide off this piece of plastic on the outside. I like to take this clear section off. You can take both off. I just take the clear section off, hold the locomotive on the dynamic brake hatch, flip it over, and then you can undo the 2 screws at the bottom. You have to be very careful with this type of packaging so that you don't drop the locomotive. Alright, now the locomotive is free, and make sure that those screws stay in the packaging, because the packaging is useless without the screws. There are also some extra details included with the locomotive, including sunshades and cab mirrors. And there are also 2 plugs for the holes on the bottom of the locomotive should you want to install them, although I have never once seen a reason to put these on since you can't see the holes from a normal operating angle on the bottom of the fuel tank. Let's start on the details for this locomotive. On the front of the locomotive, you have a plastic knuckle coupler, MU cables on each side of the coupler, and then an air hose. There is also a snowplow with a white V painted across it, with grab irons on top of it. This plow is very well attached and doesn't seem like it's going to fall off anytime soon. I have seen other Atlas locomotives where the plows fall off very easily, but these ones seem to be attached very well. There's also a coupler cut bar right here. On this particular model, number 9666, there are no ditch lights, but on 9592, there are LED illuminated ditch lights. The reason that one would have ditch lights and one wouldn't is 9666 is representing the locomotive earlier in the years before ditch lights were required by the FRA, and 9592 is representing the locomotive now where ditch lights are required by the FRA. Moving up from there, there's the large cab door on this wide cab. There's wire grab irons all up the side here, an LED illuminated headlight, and then the large CN logo. The CN logo does have a few voids right near the door hinge on this side, but nothing too major. There are also sand filler hatches on each side of the nose, along with grab irons on each side and another grab iron here. Here you can see the 2 number boards, which are not lit. Here you can see the cab-mounted bell and horn, which is a 3-chime. And then there are also class lights on each side, which obviously are unlit. You can also see here the windshield wipers, which at first I thought were mounted upside down, but they are just mounted that way on the Canadian wide cab GP40. Moving to the side of the locomotive, you can see all the pre-drilled holes for those extra details that were included in the box. You can also see the road number, which is very well done, the model designation, which is GF430D. Here's the F indicating that this is the front of the locomotive, and the EMD badge. There's also cab figures included inside of the locomotive. Moving down to the long hood, you can see the zebra stripe paint scheme. This is a very cool paint scheme, and it's probably one of my favorite CN paint schemes. Here on 9592, you can see that there's just the 1 zebra stripe and then the large CN website logo. I just think that the older one looks a little bit better. Here you can see the dustbin hatch on top, and then the vents that go along with that. There's also the large radiator vents on this side down here. This unit is not equipped with dynamic brakes, and as far as I know, no GP40-2Ws on the CN roster have dynamic braking. Moving on to the back of the locomotive, there's the plastic knuckle coupler, air hose, and MU cables on each side. There's also that V, but on the actual locomotive frame instead of the snowplow. There's also an MU socket right here, and a drop step, which does fold down. There's also wire grab irons running up the entire side of the locomotive, and the single headlight, which is a very cool thing. You can also see that that headlight is stuck out quite a bit, so it stands out really well and looks very nice. There's also the two plated over class lights, the large CN logo, locomotive number, and a sand filler hatch on top. Moving towards the top of the locomotive, you can see the large radiator fans, which do have separately applied fan blades inside of them, which is a very nice feature and I think looks very nice. Here's the exhaust stack, and there's tons of little lift rings all over this locomotive. There's also the dustbin hatch, and then the antenna. Coupler height on this unit is spot on both the front and rear. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I will leave a link in the description to where you can purchase some of these units.